Hello again, and welcome to Sailboat Ads, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today we're going to Germany. Found a couple of really interesting boats to show you. At least I think they're interesting. Um, Without further ado, I will get to it. It is interesting to note that a lot of these ads are either bilingual or they're in English. So even though this is a German website, or at least it's a European website, um, yeah, just interesting that their sort of way of dealing with this stuff is internationally focused. So this boat is a Comfortina Cayenne 42, which I've never heard of. Built in 1986. It is in Bridge. I think that's how you would say that. And part of the reason this caught my eye is a massive price reduction, 50% or 33%, depending how you look at it. So the euro is at about 1.17 to the dollar. So you're not going to add a lot of extra money to this in the conversion rate. Um, what would that be? About 3,500 bucks. So this is a $23,000 boat, which is obviously 42 feet long. The conversion from square meters to square feet is multiplied by 11, roughly. So if you're interested in seeing what that is, what their sales are, yeah. So this is a 41-foot boat. It is um, beam of 2 meters or 1.95, which is a little over 6 feet, and a weight of 6,500 kilograms multiplied times 2.2, so that 13 is about 15,000 pounds. This is not a blue water cruiser. This definitely looks like it's an old school, kind of cruiser racer type concept. And yeah, I mean, look at the pointy ends on this thing. I think it's actually really, really attractive. So here's this ad is in both German and English, and the English is not very good. It's sort of stream of consciousness with very little punctuation. There aren't any there aren't any commas or anything, but I think you get the point. Selden rig, backstays, Dyneema sandwich. Actually, backstays Dyneema. There ought to be a comma there. The sandwich hull and deck lead keel. Batten Main, Dacron AST. I'm assuming AST is the manufacturer. That is not a manufacturer I'm familiar with. Of course, most of the world is in 220 volt power, where the United States and a few other countries are at 110. And obviously, they're set up for that international. They say they've got 8 winches. I only counted 6. Maybe there's a couple on the mast. Anderson, obviously, a very good brand. Gas stove and oven, made for pure sailing pleasure. Be interested to see how this thing rates, because it sure looks fast, very pointy. And there's a couple of very interesting details about this, which we'll get into here quickly. So it's definitely on the racer end of the spectrum versus cruiser. This is not a lot of space for a 42 footer. I don't even see where you'd put a dining table. I don't see anything that folds down, and I don't see any place to attach it. Obviously, you've got a through the deck mast that attaches right here to this big old piece of fiberglass. You've just got settees on either side. Yeah, there's not a lot of space. This is a, Catalina 34 would have more room inside, but obviously the overhangs and a relatively narrow hull are both working against hull volume. Some tired woodwork here. Um, this looks like a brand new stove, oven, cooktop combo. Little sink, cold storage. I'm betting that second cold storage. This actually looks like it's in decent condition, although there's some pretty rough wear there. This looks like a laminate countertop, which could be upgraded. So you've got a quarter berth. Yeah, there's your little sink. I mean, this really is not a great cruising interior, but if you were looking for something to go out with the family or the guys and do some round the beer can racing, my guess is this thing probably sails quite nicely. Four peak. I don't know why they'd leave all this stuff sitting there. The nets aren't don't look great, but very practical to throw your gear. And some of this wood looks really tired, like almost scratched. These are the same kind of scratches I have on some of my woodwork in my home because of my dogs. Obviously, a single head doesn't really make sense to have try and squeeze in two heads in a boat with this kind of volume. And this is one of those deals where the sink pulls out. That's a good idea when you've got limited space. Now you're looking from the front bulkhead aft. You do have a teak and holly sole, and actually a lot of this glass looks in very nice shape, um, better shape than the wood is. Send a request. Nope, we're not interested. Got some Raymarine electronics. And here's where things get kind of interesting. So you've got a all teak deck, teak on your cockpit seats. This is looking very tired. This is a piece I probably would not have allowed to go gray because that's going to start to split and come apart. They skipped from what logically would be to continue to look at the cockpit to the Volvo Penta diesel. This looks very squishy under the cockpit sole. My guess is this is right behind the companionway steps. And here's the oddity. At first I'm thinking, so this is some kind of little aft cabin? No, this is just where you steer from. So you've got your tiller. Um, I'm guessing this is your access into your lazarette. And then they just have these, they're almost like skylights. Your main sheet's here, but this is kind of your guest cockpit. And I think this is where you'd actually steer from, which is odd. You've got a couple of self-tailing primaries here and some more on the next picture. Two on the cabin top and two on each side. So I'm guessing that if you're running Genoas, you're using the aft winches, and if you're running, I mean, look at all look at all the different Genoa tracks they have here. So there's a self-tailer. That's what this little arrangement would be. So that would be a 95 or 100% jib that would go, in here. Then you have inboard tracks, a little outboard track, and then a huge one, which I assume is for the Genoa. And look at all the holes here. So normally it would probably just be the center holes. And my guess is that the owner of this boat drilled these extra ones so you have more um, adjustability on where your Genoa is, which is kind of which says to me this is a boat that was definitely raced. You've got a big old spinnaker pole there. Um, yeah, here's your engine control again in this sort of secondary aft cockpit, which is odd. And then we get a couple of really nice profile pictures. Yeah, I'll bet this looks really, really beautiful under sail, going fast, not high freeboard. This is not going to be a dry boat. My guess is if you get in some wave action, you're going to get wet. So interesting listing for $23,000. That feels like a lot of boat. That feels like you just have a way lots of fun if you were a beer can racer and wanted to take the family out for a weekend or even a long week. But we're going to move on to the next one, which is a really super interesting listing. So when I was growing up, these Jongert or Jongert, just incredible build quality. We saw them at the shows. And this is a boat from 1976, and boy, it does not look like it. It looks like it's 10 years old. And this is a big boat. This is a big sucker, 73 feet. And I'm assuming that that is from bow to stern, including all the extra stuff that's sticking off of it. And this is a ketch, so you've got two masts, and then you've also got a cutter rig. Big Bertha of a boat, 52,000 kilograms is over 100,000 pounds. That is that is a big baby. 160 horsepower. Interesting that they don't have the hours. I guess that's just not a thing that's done. Beautiful Jongert 19S was solidly built by a famous Dutch quality shipyard. Been owned by our current owner for 30 years, who has pampered her with much care and attention. And boy, when we look at the pictures, you will see that is not an overstatement. Complete refit in 1997. So the boat is 50 years old and the refit is 30 years old. And literally, this thing looks almost new. Well appointed aft cabin. Boy, is that an understatement. With a double bed. It's a full on king. And there's a bath in the bathroom. I think we'd say they have a tub in the bathroom. Two guest cabins with separate bathrooms and a crew cabin in the foreship offer ample space. Go to contact. Yeah, this is a boat that would have so much detail in it, but in the interest of not spending half an hour reading, I'm going to get right to the photos. First of all, to me, this is just a very classic motor sailor. I love the profile of this boat. Uh, I'm absolute sucker for navy blue hulls, and it's just even though it's really a motor sailor and not sort of a classic sailing yacht. It is, yeah, I think it's got a very, very beautiful profile. And there you see it again. There's a huge aft, I don't know what you'd call this. It's not really a swim platform because it's way off the water. We will see that it has a big ladder to help you get down. And then you've got a huge bowsprit. So the 73 feet would include all that, your actual, hull on not on the water line, but on the deck level is probably more like 63, which is still a sizable. That's a very big yacht. Yeah, some interesting details here. The sails aren't on it, which I think is interesting, but it looks like they have. I think you would call these jack stays, so that the sails will just dump down onto the boom, and then you've got these little guys that are help controlling the sails on the boom, which would be very very handy. And giveaway, spoiler alert, look at this thing. That looks like an old ship from the 15 or 1600s. Good picture of your aft. I don't know what to call it, but swim platform. Huge ladder. The ladder looks like it needs to be replaced. So many parts of this yacht are just spectacularly well maintained that sticks out as a sore thumb. Um, I think you call these back cars. Not sure where your mizzen and your main sails would attach to the boom. Huge space forward for your tender. That looks like a big burly tender. You have a solid bang. So this, or boom kicker, there's a bunch of different names for it. Big old power yacht in the background. Beautiful teak decks. They look like they're in fantastic condition. Um, yeah, a little close up there. Now we're going to start looking at some details of the quality of the finish work here. Obviously, yeah, the owner's been taking unbelievably good care of this yacht. Lots and lots of exterior teak that has been lovingly varnished. I mean, like I said, this doesn't look 50 years old, much less 30, or 30 years old, much less 50. Ah, there's your two, actually three more. No, I'm sorry, different boat, Mike. Look at the quality of the finish here. Just absolutely glistening. Yeah, so here's your ladder. I guess it's wood, which seems like an odd decision. I mean, so much of the boat is wood. I suppose that goes along with it to be a little easier on the feet. Look at the chrome surrounds on your port lights and the just spectacular finish on this woodwork. Of course, I look at that and I go, damn, that's a lot of work. Interesting that they did not show the winches, which should be substantial and very, very expensive on a boat this size. And we have now moved to the interior. Obviously, you've got a full surround for the enclosure for the helm station. And again, you see just spectacular quality of finish and maintenance. Windshield wipers, lots of grab rails. This is your throttle control for your engine, and obviously also a bow thruster, which would make sense in a yacht of this size. Beautiful instrumentation. And again, the woodwork that this is set into is it's stunning. This is, if I walked in here, I'd be going, oh my God, that is so beautiful. And it is so beautiful. I mean, even the metal on this thing, just glistening, sparkling. Someone has obviously taken time to make sure this continues to get maintained. Now we've stepped down a couple of steps into the main salon. I'm not a huge fan of this. Looks like black leather. That's kind of dark. I would have gone with something much lighter. Teak and Holly Soul, probably just gobs and gobs of storage space underneath these lifting panels. Um, but huge amount of space here. I mean, it's beautiful. Great light coming in from your deck house, deck salon, I guess they call it. Um, Proper chart table, a little bit of wear here, but I mean, this is really the first place where we've seen woodwork that's not just immaculate. Incredible galley. Look at this. So you step down from the main eating area, a couple of steps, and you have this beautiful railing that kind of wraps around here. Um, Sink. This to me looks like an induction cooker with an oven, and I'm betting that this is Corian, just because these are molded in. And the next picture, I'm not sure if they just changed the contrast so it made this countertop pop some more. But even like the faucets and these kinds of things, that had to have been part of what was changed out in 1997. So here you get a good idea. Walk down into the main salon, a couple steps more into your galley, and then pass through. It looks like there's a big refrigerator right there. And wow, look at this. I mean, this is just breathtaking. Um, I mean, look at the quality of the finish work. Look at the size of the bed. I'd just be shocked if that's not a full size king, so 72-inch wide. And here's those that glass that's looking out over the stern. You'd be looking right in the water. You've got port lights on either side that look like they open. Betting that's an opening hatch. And look at the glistening varnish on this ceiling space. It's incredible. It's a really really beautiful yacht. Someone has really meticulously maintained this thing for a long time. Then we get into the master head. Beautiful sink. Look at this faucet. Just absolutely love that. Yeah, this looks like Corian where it's molded, or something similar to it. And here's your tub. Separate toilet, tub with a shower, obviously. I'm not crazy about the tile. This looks like, 1980s remodeling project. And it said there were two cabins, but I don't think they have pictures of two cabins. I think they have two pictures of this cabin, which is a bunk bed cabin, cabin, and they don't really have like a VIP cabin. But there are definitely two more heads. So here's head number two, and here is. See, I'm pretty sure this is the same cabin with this brown thing and a big poofy comforter. And then this arrangement for this head is different. So I wonder if there are two bunk beds. Now we move into the utilities. And again, attention to detail. They've got a nice chrome cover. Um, some pieces over here that are obviously continue to be, where's the grunge? Where's the dirt? Where's the oil? They just, you got to look really hard to find it because it is well maintained and it looks like great storage space. Got space for tools. This is obviously, you can see the construction of the boat here on the hull side, which is incredible. There's another picture of the engine, and then we have an advertisement. So what a stunning yacht this is. And for 275,000, so VAT, that's value added tax, that's something that a lot of the rest of the world has to deal with that Americans do not. And it changes based on the country. In some countries, it's a lot. I'm pretty sure in the UK, it's still 25%. 275,000 euros is about $320,000, which for a yacht of this quality, and I think if all of this looks that good, my guess is that the stuff that you can't see, the plumbing, the electrical, all that has been properly maintained as well, replaced as needed. My guess is that you could take this boat and go around the world with um, two couples or another couple and some kids and feel absolutely confident that this thing is going to just be there for you. So that is it for today. That went longer than I'd hoped. We're at almost 20 minutes, but two really interesting listings. We'll continue to travel around the globe and show interesting listings from other places. Come back to my ugly mug. There's me. Sailboat ads, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was kind of the good and the better. I kind of liked both of those a lot. Thanks for watching. Do the subscribe and that stuff. Still trying to figure out how to gain some traction on this channel. So always looking for feedback. You've got ideas, where to go, what to look at, how to make it more interesting. Do I need to stand in my head? I don't know. I'm looking for ideas. So thanks. We'll see you next week. Sure appreciate it.